Okay, hello, I'm Emily. I'm back again to do one of my favourite poses called Sirasana, which is the headstand. It's known as the king posture because it possibly is the most powerful posture of all hatha yoga postures. It's not necessary to have a wall to do your headstand against, as long as you don't kick up out of control. If you place yourself in headstand, you'll always fall out what I call the nice way rather than the nasty way, which is obviously going over onto the hard ground here. If you're worried about going over, then I of course would start the headstand towards the back of the mat, so that you've got lots of lovely mat in front of you to roll onto rather than the hard floor. However, I'm going to leave my towel right here. I folded a towel. I actually folded it in three, so you can see I've concertinaed the towel 3 times over and under, and then I'm going to fold that backwards as well. So basically I have a long, quite thin layer of towel. It's thin this way and it's long this way, so thin widthways and long lengthways. And because I concertinaed it, it's very neutral. It's not the same as folding and folding again, because you're going to have a slant this way for your head to rest on. You don't want it. You want it to be very, very flat surface. The reason I've got the towel placed like this is it's going to allow my neck to keep its natural cervical arch while I'm in the headstand. Lots of people when they headstand feel that their neck feels very uncomfortable, and this is a way of having a much more comfortable neck. So I can take my hands, and I will tend to either interlink the fingers, or I tend to take a fist and wrap the other hand around the outside of it, which I feel is a little bit safer for the fingers. And the outside of my skull will be resting on the inside edges of my wrists rather than the hands, because my hands are made into fists. I place the hands in front of the towel, and if the front 2 corners of the towel get in the way, you can sort of push them in a bit. So your hands are down on the mat, and the elbows are pretty close. They're almost touching the sides of the towel, so you are quite narrow for your elbow line. It's actually the size of the outside of your collarbones rather than a shoulder distance, a little closer together. I'll then carefully place my head down on the front edge of the towel, and really I can just feel the tops of my hands pressing against the outside edge of my skull. And you can see, because I'm on the towel, I've still got this arch in my neck. The points I'm resting on my head is not on the very top of my head, it's about 1 inch in front of the top of my head. So it's between the forehead and the top of the head. And again, that will allow me to keep that cervical arch in place. Very firm down through my forearms. My head is nice and comfortable because it's resting on the towel. I'll start to walk the feet towards the towel edge. I'll get to a point where I feel like I can't go any further. You can move your feet wider at that point. You can probably see that my back is a little bit rounded. All times you can bend the knees off a lot. My knees are actually touching my chest at this point. When I say place yourself in the pose, I place one leg in the air, knees still touching chest, heel towards the bottom, and I'll very gently find what I call the bite point, and you can see I'm not kicking, and I'll place the other foot in the same position. Now, I was talking about falling out the nice way. All of my weight is still towards the nice direction. So if I fall, I'll always fall out the nice way back down. If you start taking the legs up straight and kicking, you're very likely going to kick over and fall into what I call the nasty way. Yeah? If you do feel yourself going that way, you tuck your head in, you'll just do a forward roll and you'll be safe. So you progress over time, and if you need to keep your feet on the ground, the pose that you're in at the moment is known as a half headstand, and you're getting all the benefits of a headstand without the need to balance. If you can place yourself in 3/4, that means that you've got yourself up, but your knees are still touching your chest and you're still in a safe zone. As soon as the knees come away from the chest, you're getting into a little bit more advanced territory. Be a little bit more careful. You can hear from my voice that my neck is still comfortable, my throat is still comfortable. And now I'm up in 3/4 extended. I've got my knees up and my heels close to my bottom. So I'm inverted, but I'm neutral. Finish pose, obviously very slowly, kicking my heels up towards the sky. And I'm nice and balanced. I'm still using my abdominal muscles a little. I'm not gripping too strongly, but I'm balanced. Just do some slight movement as my body finds the balance. My arms are still firm, my hands are still firm, and I can stay here and breathe. I'd like to put a twist on the pose.
I'll drop my heels back down to my bottom but keep my knees up. I'll flex my toes and then I'll very slowly twist from my waist downwards, the whole of my legs, and twist to the right, keeping squeezing my knees together, and then slowly twist to my left. Very, very powerful. It has been said this is one of the most powerful things you can do with inversion and rotation. Very, very good for the internal organs as a cleansing posture. I'll bring it back to center. To exit the pose, I can slowly bring my legs back, taking myself back into the safety zone, and then a leg at a time, drop myself back down. If I was more advanced to come out of the pose, I'd try to control the pose and come down with straight legs. Again, if you feel wobbly, I wouldn't do this. If you're very strong in your abdominal muscles, you still feel comfortable, and you try to keep your hips above your shoulders. And so you can touch down, feet together. When you rest out, try not to move your neck at all. Very, very slowly you can ease yourself back. You can even stay on your towel. Forehead rests on the towel, arms out in front of you. Stay here for several minutes. Breathe easily. Don't turn the head or neck, just keep it completely still. Having been here for a while, still not moving the head and neck, you can bring yourself very gently, so I'm still neutral through my neck, and kneel up. And imagine that from the top of your head is floating up towards the sky, like a helium balloon. Your neck feels light, your shoulders are relaxed. Reap the benefits of Sirasana.